All right, bang bang. It's your boy MK, the action guy in the building. Welcome to episode 32 of Cinema Boys Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing I Saw the Devil, starring Choi Min Sing and lead by Young Hun. Hopefully, I pronounced the actor's name correctly, and it's directed by Jim-woo. And I'm with my boy Dakota. What's up, bro?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, man?
I'm doing good.
All right, so you want to start with some non-spoiler thoughts? Hey, I've been raving this movie and telling Dakota to watch it for the longest time possible. Mainly because I'm a horror guy. I'm an action guy, right? And this movie has crime in this film, but it's a horror film. This movie really shows how terrifying a serial killer is, and I think it does a fantastic job of doing that. But not only that, showcasing how someone could become so obsessed with revenge and do the most gnarly things to get revenge. And I feel like that's such a great, interesting perspective for a film like this. And we never seen these types of movies before. So it's such an original take on a revenge film and goes back to Forbes. It's a cat and mouse film as our protagonist always catches the antagonist and then leads to him in different locations. And such a interesting preference is done so brilliantly, like so excellently in this film. But Dakota, what are your non-spoiler thoughts on Other Side of the Devil?
So for me, this is the first time I saw this movie. It's really messed up. Like I like horror. I like a lot of crime movies, but this is goes really dark, a lot more darker than it is. And I like the environment of this movie. You start this movie, which is not a spoiler that that I think of. Um, you start in like a snowy, dark area. It's nighttime, and it already sets that feeling of this movie's gonna be very dark because if you guys are looking at the poster or below put up the DVD or Blu-ray, you can see that this movie is gonna be dark. Like right there, this movie is gonna look dark. And if you guys actually see the theatrical poster, it's even more dark. So I knew I was going to it being a dark movie, and you have mentioned it also being a brutal and dark movie, but I didn't know it was going to go this dark and this brutal. And I love the message they sent in this movie because the message is kind of like don't let revenge eat you alive.
Yeah.
And that's the perfect like there's not a lot of movies. I think that's the thing with American movies. American movies don't have that message. Where this movie really had that message in it.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk about the ending because it's such a powerful ending of this film. But I'll let you carry on.
But I love the acting in this. From our protagonist, which is that Snake Eyes from the G.I. Joe movies?
Yes. I think. Wait, I think it was a Snake Eyes. I think it was Storm Hunter. I think. Let me double
No,
check.
no, not Snake Eyes. Not Snake Eyes. He's Storm Shadow. That's right.
Storm Shadow. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
was in Ridiculous Six as well, and recently in Squid Game.
Um. Yes, I remember him from the pictures of Squid Game. What is our villain in? Our antagonist. I've seen him in something.
He was an old boy. His name is Choi Min Sik.
Is he the main guy in Old Boy?
Yeah, he's the protagonist of Old Boy.
Okay, that's where I saw him from. Even though I haven't seen Old Boy, which hopefully we can review on here soon. Um,
Sir.
that movie's good. So, oh, he's also I remember him from the poster of Exuma also.
Yeah, he's in Exuma. He was also Lucy, that Scarlett Johansson film.
Okay,
He's an
he's a
insane
good.
actor.
Yes, he is good. Like him as a villain in this creeped me out a little bit.
Yeah.
But like with the what really messed me up is like the brutality and stuff in this
Yeah.
and the acting. Like you kind of felt like it was real a little bit. Like you were right there
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
And especially I will get to the part in the spoiler part that really messed me up. But that's about it for me for right now for this movie.
All right. Well, let's dive into spoilers, but let's dive into the opening scene a bit more. Like you said, it's a snowy environment, but I love the fact the opening scene is kind of lighthearted between husband and wife having a cute conversation, and then it takes a left turn when you see the antagonist. I love the movie opens up with the antagonist seeing a woman in a car with a flat tire and just trying to find look for the tow truck, right? And then the antagonist, the serial killer, approaches her. Is like, "Oh, I could help you," and then the women kind of
She was
accept.
kind of like nice to him. She's like, "Thank you," but kind of,
Yeah,
I can wait for the tow truck.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I'm trying to get at. I sorry, I suck at explaining things that are like more complex, but I love the way that the movie, like when the first kill happens, the way they cut and it's him screaming and like breaking the window. That
Oh, I
made me
was not
scared.
expecting that.
That made me scared the first time I saw it. You saw the video I sent you saying, "Don't watch this until you see outside the devil." That was my reaction to that scene,
Okay,
right?
I didn't even see that scene yet. I haven't watched that. I need to watch that now.
You're actually, matter of fact, just watch it right now in this podcast episode because I think it's
Okay.
hilarious, bro.
Let me find it. You guys gonna get live reaction of me watching this clip from below.
And
But
we're gonna cut
later
the.
on, there's an
Oh,
what?
go ahead. I was gonna say we're gonna cut out the low blank spots that we have.
So let me find this clip real quick. So you guys, how many days ago you watched this? You watched it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go, guys. To be honest, I turned my volume down on this part. It's scary though to think about that. To be
Yeah,
honest with you, that's the biggest part. I think it's that scene because when I say this feels real, that whole opening right there,
yeah,
it makes you right into the movie. It's like I was like, "Ooh, I'm like, are we not going to even like set up a plot or anything? We're just going to get right into it."
yeah. But man, you know that what hurts about that scene even more is the fact she was pregnant before the serial killer chops her up.
Okay, can I get to why? What's the scene that really messed me up?
Sure, go ahead, man.
It's this scene right here. It's the scene of like we are like if you knew what the movie was about before going in, that this guy is getting revenge on this guy for killing his was it girlfriend or wife at the time?
Wife.
His wife at the time, and I already knew that, and it was just the building up. Like she's sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, this is the wife, and he, of course, the little conversation, which adds more emotion to it. Then once he has her in like his chamber thing, like
Oh
it's
yeah,
first of all the chamber is so eerie. It's not like that's why I think these where this is a Korean film, it hits more because it shows like what actually a serial killer could look like.
yeah,
And it's that scene of you see her and oh it really bothered me because I didn't know what he was going to do when he was tying her up. I'm like, is he going to chop her up? Is he going to rip her apart? And it's just all going through my head, the build up. And when he's talked to her, that's the other part. Because like in American movies, the killer don't talk to them. It's just like they kill them, it's done.
yeah,
It's the interaction they had. And when she's like, "Don't kill me, I'm pregnant," it hit me right there.
yeah. That hit. I mean, that part shows that this guy doesn't give a fuck. He is pure evil. He will do anything just to murder people because he's just the devil, essentially. That's why this movie's called I Saw the Devil, because this guy is a devil. He's a fiend. He will do some really horrific things. And I'm going to share the scene that really fucked me up. It's the hospital scene. That scene really. with the yeah, that scene was very uncomfortable to say the least. But I love that scene specifically when the protagonist comes and um uses a little knife thing. Dude, 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 dude,
Oh, it's
dude.
hurting me right now.
Yeah, bro, the blood gushing during that was crazy, bro.
Not that, it's the Achilles scene. The Achilles scene really
Oh yeah,
got me.
that's my leg went back.
Oh,
Oh, that was gnarly, man.
I'm over here like, oh, I hate the Achilles scenes in like horror movies or action movies. That's the one thing that can get me.
Yeah, but I like since we're talking about uncomfortable scenes, that was the scene that made me feel uncomfortable. But what was your favorite scene in this? There's so many great ones. I know.
This is my favorite scene. I'm going with the ending. I'm going straight for the ending
We're
because
gonna actually talk about the ending later
okay,
because yeah,
okay. I'm just gonna say the ending because
yeah,
I'm just gonna say this because this antagonist really pissed me off the whole entire movie, and I really wanted him to get his dues.
yeah. I think my favorite scene is the first interaction between the protagonist and antagonist in the greenhouse. I feel like that set piece was really well shot. I love the western, influence during that scene when it just kind of cuts to their face and then you see the action flow together. And I like the flickering lights during that whole scene. And you're like into this movie 1 hour in, you're like, wait, our protagonist already stopped the antagonist right off rip. Like, what? Like, yeah, it has a low shock value, doesn't it? A little bit. And then you see him put that GPS tracker in him, which was something really cool. I love that element of the film.
That you talk about that scene,
Yeah,
I like that scene because one, what's happening right there, I really don't like what he's about to do to that poor and she's underage too, by the way,
yeah,
and that makes it more uncomfortable. And once you hear the guy call his name, you're like, oh shit.
yeah. But like, let's talk about how this scene leads up to him. You see, the protagonist grieving for the loss, like crazy, and then it says, I want the serial killer to feel every single pain that like the wife did, right? And then you see him having like a detective Batman thing, like him trying to find who the serial killer is. The first one wasn't it. I love to see when it's like, find a man who crushes balls. I'm like,
The laugh of that. Oh, I knew we were gonna get like really brutal. Besides, like the guy like murdering the girls, like just the revenge part of this guy, this protagonist, like kicking some ass. It's sad part. It's when he takes that bridge and he's just like, I'm like, oh, I'm like, dude.
dude, I felt that so much, bro. Pause. But the beautiful transition during the whole scene when you after the last antagonist, you see the picture of like the serial killer on the wall, and you see this like smooth transition to a woman and a woman trying to look for the bus, and then you see the serial killer come around, and I thought that was beautifully shot. That was stellar. The poor woman did not deserve that. I mean, none of these women did, but like she went in there. She sees the serial killer has a hammer. They're driving, and the hammer whack real quick, and then she dead. Or what's that
It's
axe? I think it was a
no,
hammer.
it was a pipe.
It
It
was
was
a
like a
pipe,
water pipe.
water pipe. Yeah, but I love the way the protagonist finds out that this is the serial killer because he sees the ring, the white ring, in the sewer pipe area, and that's when he finds out this is a person he get revenge for. That's such a great way to tell the story. And then I love the fact that he goes to the family and the family doesn't know where the serial killer is, except for his son. His son tells him where to go. And I thought that was a great thing. And it goes full circle to the ending, which we'll talk about later in a bit. But is there
There's
any
two. There's two questions I want to ask you.
yeah.
One, have you seen the extended version of this?
I think I watched the standard version because I got the underrated version. So I don't
Okay,
know.
so I wonder if you have. And two, the search at the beginning is a great shot, isn't it?
Which one?
The search, like at the beginning when um the chief's daughter, when they're
Yeah.
trying to find the chief's daughter and the protagonist's wife, that search, just the cinematography of that, of
Oh
course,
yeah,
but the
yeah, yeah,
aspect of that whole entire scene, the tension building of like, do you find out who her father? Like I'm thinking, is this girl important? Because it has you kind of have a feeling at the beginning of this before you find anything out that this girl might be important. Then you find out it's the chief's daughter.
yeah,
But then it's like one of the agents' wives also, so it's like an intermix of the twine of like, oh, this guy
yeah,
just like got in the wrong area.
yeah. But you know what's haunting before that? You see a kid find her ear, and then the whole thing starts. And the shot is great, but I love the fact it's like the whole community coming together during that scene, and the horrific shot of seeing the poor woman's head was just haunting. It was scary. It was terrifying, and the way they made the head turn and make it
And
look
show her face.
show her face, but make it look real. Like it doesn't look like a dummy. It actually looks like a real head, which is impressive how they did that. But again, that head has a great symbol to the ending as well, which we'll talk about later. You know, the scene I thought was a little funny, but at the same time a little bit haunting. But it was a cool scene. Is when we see our antagonist in the street trying to find like a car, and then you see like two people like a taxi drivers like you're very lucky you can't find a car here in the snow winters. It's like and then you see this antagonist being so quiet during this scene, and you're wondering what he's going to be doing. And then the only piece of dialogue he says is like, "You say unlucky, but you're very unlucky." And then you see like an awesome little action set piece in the car, and you see him kill ghost people with no problem. Which leads to the most disgusting scene is when you find out that his friend is eating like human flesh.
Can we go back to the taxi scene? My question
Yeah,
was, were they both serial killers?
I think so.
Because that was another body in the trunk, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm wondering if they thought they were, because like if it was like a duo and they were
yeah,
going to kill him and they didn't
yeah,
realize he is a serial killer also.
yeah.
But yeah, we could talk about the friend. Like, holy crap, I didn't even expect that either.
Oh, the human flesh stuff,
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
bro. Okay. When he goes to his friend's place, you see dogs eating on flesh. I'm wondering, is that human flesh or like regular meat? I
oh,
just,
that's human. It's human.
ooh, that's disgusting, bro.
Yeah, that's why I thought I'm like, oh crap, because of course I knew it because I connected it because he's throwing the clothes away, right, and he throws the phone away in the fire. So I'm
Yeah,
like, he's bringing all the evidence of these people that he has killed.
yeah.
Then he's feeding the dog to me. I'm like, oh, that's human. I'm like, because he's like, they go after blood, and I was thinking, oh, that's human right there. Once he said that,
Yeah. Which is another like interesting thing about this main serial killer. He's very clean about his evidence. In the beginning, you see him like clean off the blood really well, pretty spot on. But at the same time, you see this guy's like, clean himself, if that makes sense. Like he's combing his hair, like washing his face, all that low jazz. That reminds me a little bit of American Psycho, a little bit, I want to say.
a little bit, yeah, it
A
kind of
little
does remind me of Patrick Bateman a little bit.
Anyway, so let's just dive into his friend's scene when he goes to his friend's house. You want to talk about that?
It's so messed up, to be honest with you, because they're at the table, right? And this dude just eating raw meat. I'm like, I knew it too. I'm like, oh shit, that's human. And he's like, and the guy, our antagonist, is like, you're going crazy off that human flesh, right? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Drew. I'm like, I actually did think of it correctly. I'm like, and this woman's just like, I don't know what the woman's thinking. Is she like trapped in there, or is she just like okay with this?
I'm guessing she's okay with it, which is a very messed up woman, especially for the fact that all these women are brutally getting murdered.
But the scene, I thought the one part I really like from that scene is when he's like, dude, you're crazy. Oh no, when he's like, dude, you're crazy, what's it, crazy bastard, he said,
Yeah.
or crazy bitch, and he's like, what do you just call me? He's like, I'm blah blah blah, like his name, and it connected with the guy, like, oh shit, what did I just say?
Yeah, but I love, but also what I like about the scene is his friends like, you made a monster. He's a psycho. Like, you're not gonna be able to escape him. And I thought that was such a great scene because this whole movie, you see this protagonist has an upper advantage from the antagonist, and I mean, the protagonist could have killed them in the first 1 hour of the film, but he's so obsessed with getting revenge and wants to feel every pain, which leads to the moment where the serial killer finally finds out who he is, which
Which, oh, what you was gonna say?
which leads to the daughter dying. Well, that's his sister, right? I'm going to say sister. The-
Oh, you talk about the when he goes back to the house at
Yeah,
the very, that's the that's his sister-in-law and father-in-law.
yeah,
That's the
sister-in-law,
girls.
father-in-law. Soon as Yeah, as soon as the serial killer finds out about that, he shits out the GPS tracker, and I hate this scene because he shows
And
shows
digging.
his shit. I'm like, bro, I do not need to see that. I just need, anyways. And then at least he's like, can you hear me now? I'm going to your house right now. I'm like, oh shit. And then unfortunately, the daughters, I'm guessing they both died, right?
Yeah. So what really got me with that is when he goes back to the guy's friend in the hospital,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You messed up. You don't know who you're messing with." He's like, "You think you won? You think it's over? No." He's like, "He has a plan. He's a step ahead of you." He's like, "Not only he went after your girl and killed her, but he's gonna go after her family also." And
Yeah.
that's when like you get right there, like when he gets the phone call and he's talking to him, and you can tell that this guy has went from have the advantage of our protagonist to having the disadvantage real quick.
Yeah.
And just that whole the phone. What really bothered me is the phone call. The father-in-law was one step away to get on that porch and picking up that phone,
Yeah.
and that's what really bothers me because I think it's that whole scene because this guy thought he could do it his right way, and it
Yeah.
cost some more lives. It costed everybody around him.
Yeah. But which leads to like a really awesome, like, the way he finds out, goes to his, like, back to the serial killer's friends and just kind of like opens his mouth and you see like blood gush. Oh god, that
Are we talking about the friend or the originals or our protagonist?
dude, the friend when he was in
The
the
hospital.
hospital. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I thought that. I'm like, oh, and you can tell this is practical. It's no CGI whatsoever, so it's like
yeah.
it makes it worse.
Okay, actually, let's go a little bit back. Let's go to the action scene in the house, in a serial killer friend house when he has a gun and shooting around, and you see a little bit of Home Alone with thumbtacks. I'm guessing that was
No, it's little fish hooks.
fish hooks. Yeah, yeah. and he throws it in the ground, and the protagonist, I mean, antagonist steps on it. It's like, oh, and you see him just beat this guy up with a pipe and screaming, why, and you feel every bit of the emotion during that scene, and it's just so fantastically done too. But like in the same time, like how is this antagonist still alive? But you see like blood gushing out of his head too. It's like he must have been a strong ass guy, bro.
That and the friend, because I thought the friend was dead.
Oh, me too. And I think the girl's still alive too, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
remember she's in one part and his friend's in the other.
yeah. And yeah, another thing is I love the way it sets up the antagonist finds out what's really happening with him. It realizes, oh my god, you have a GPS tracker on me. That's why he knows where I am. He's been listening to every conversation, every interaction I have with people. But he always shows up when he's about to do a crime, right? Most of the time in this film. So seeing the little hints of him figuring out what's really happening with him, and we're gonna go back to the first time we got in a different location. The protagonist gives him some money too. It's just like playing mind games with him. That's another thing I like.
Yeah, I did too. I'm like, what's he doing right now? Is he telling him to go away, or is he just like, because it's just like you said, the little mind games is like, oh, here's some money.
Yeah, and the antagonist is like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Or the other playing the games of when he gets the guys to kill, he tells the nurse, "You stay, you got to patch him up." I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
what the? I'm like, dude, this dude just like he's just wanting to torture this dude.
Yeah. um yeah. But you know the scene that like hit me in the core is like the way that the protagonist goes to the daughter's father when he's about to die, and you see the low grade like a little bit of father-in-law and son relationship. Like you could tell they love each other, so that hits you in an emotional level as well, which I love. You know.
Yeah. So I like the whole like relationship like you were talking about, because in the beginning I thought you could I thought there was going to be some interaction, which is kind of interesting, and I kind of like a little bit where they have the interaction at the crime scene site where they found the head, and it's
Yeah.
like later on when they're talking, but he knows that he's doing this the whole entire time, and he
Yeah.
don't want to tell the cops though.
Yeah. But you know what was interesting? You know, the scene when the father-in-law calls him is like, I know you're doing this. You should stop now. You have done enough. And he probably should have stopped, to be honest,
Yeah,
during that moment. But he was like so dived into guilt and revenge and grief, he still keep going. And which led to scenes of the sister-in-law dying, the father-in-law dying, and leads to so many more crimes that in the end, like, is it worth it? That's the question this movie asks us. Is revenge really worth doing?
that's why I thought too, because I'm like, okay, because the premise of this movie, like going to, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a plain simple. Like this dude kills this guy's wife, he kills the guy by the end, just plays little mind games with him and kills him by the end. We're good. But then once you figure out of course, this guy pro antagonist has the upper hand. Later on, you're like, oh shit, this dude should have just like finished him off like the second or third time that like the third time. Oh yeah, the house. I'm thinking he should have just finished him off right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, the serial killer plays a mind game too during the end, right? Like he tries to give himself up to the cops, right?
Yeah,
But the protagonist finds out where he is at, and I love to see when he just drives his SUV and breaks the car door.
True. I'm thinking, what's he? I'm thinking the whole entire time in my head, I'm thinking he's gonna run this dude over.
Yeah.
But then he takes him. I'm like, oh, okay. This dude's a little bit smarter than I thought he was gonna be.
Yeah. Which leads to the ending, which you want to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about this
I,
ending. I want you to go into more because that I think I could give probably more detail with it.
I'll let you go in first, though.
So going into this scene, I knew where they were gonna go with this. Once they went back to the guy's like layer torture center
Yeah.
where he was killing these girls. I'm like, okay, this just circles around. I'm like, it's perfect for the plot to circle back around with this area. And once he gets in there and we see him like tied up, the one scene of the whole entire thing, besides like the very like last minute of the whole entire last 2 minutes, like that tense moment, um, is when he stabs the screwdriver in the guy's mouth.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm like, dude. I was not expecting that. But the begging and the crying, and you could tell, and later on you find out, oh, this dude's like just a not a dumbass, but like an asshole. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't know what fear is. I don't know what pain is. I was just like playing with you, little mind games with you right there.
Yeah, but speaking of that, the serial killer might before he kills his victims also beg, and the way he was talking was like the serial killer. I mean, like the serial killer was talking like the victims he killed before.
Especially like the guy's wife.
Yeah,
Everything that he was saying, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking if this guy knew what she said right before you killed her, it would piss him off even more.
but the thing is, the protagonist start talking like the serial killer too. It's kind of like a reverse scenario there, right?
Yeah, because this dude, this protagonist did not never smoke. And he's smoking by the end of this thing, like the serial killer as he's sitting there. He's smoking, and he's just like, he goes from happy and joyful at the beginning of the movie to like dark and dreadful, like how we meet when the wife and the serial killer first interact and she's begging for her life, and he's just sitting there smoking, just contemplating what to do. And this is what this guy's doing also. And I just
Yeah.
love it's like this perfect of like going from like good guy to bad guy a little bit, even though he's supposed to be the good guy, because you don't know. It kind of like draws like the viewer in. It's like,
Yeah.
are you good that are you good to go with this guy that he should be killing this guy, or is it like should he actually kill
Oh,
him?
bro, I forgot to talk about my favorite piece of dialogue. It's during the I think the hospital scene when the protagonist gets him again, and he says something. Remember, your nightmare gets worse. And I
Oh
love,
yes,
yeah, that was such a great scene too. I cannot believe I forgot to say that until now. But anyways, going back to the ending, the back and forth between the actors is perfect. Phenomenal acting by Choi and Lee by Young Hun. But I also love the fact the protagonist you see a little bit eye drops, even though he's being serious. You feel like
yeah.
he's
You see him crying.
yeah. I think that was a great piece to the film. But also, like you said, I like the antagonist is playing games with him, and then it's like I this is the part that makes me hate the antagonist the most. So what your wife said to me before she died. I'm pregnant, and then that's when shit went crazy, right?
Was it right there,
I
or
think.
was it? No, it wasn't right there. It was
Oh no, it was in the phone call.
yes, it was in
Never mind.
not only the phone call, but when he took the little pill out, because of course that had the mic on it. So he's carrying that thing around with him, right? And he's like, when the pregnant and the guy just stopped.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you didn't know that, did you? And it's the way his dialogue, the actor, like, he's a really good, like, I could say, I need to watch more of his films that he's acting in, But this dude as a villain was absolutely great because that piece of dialogue that he said right there really, like you said, it really was fucked up because this dude, you could tell he's the asshole and he's a scummy person the whole entire time. But that piece of dialogue, like you just took away this guy's wife, the rest of her family, like you don't even have anything left.
Yeah.
And this guy just like, oh yeah, she was pregnant by the way, so you had a kid, and it's like fuck you, I took that away too.
Yeah. But bro, many of us laughing during the end. Did that not remind you a little bit of Joker?
Yes, it's I think this movie, and I think it's just because this is a Korean film, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. They portrayed a serial killer down to the T of what a real serial killer is.
Yeah.
The mental, the mind games, and just like me as like a person knowing about true crime and knowing what like how a serial killer can act and stuff, just the way he was acting and the mannerisms of especially that final scene of his laugh and his everything was just on point, and it made it creepy enough. Not only for a revenge movie, I think that's where the horror elements come in. This not only how brutal, but how creepy this guy is
Yeah,
as a serial killer.
the most terrifying killers are the ones who be silent sometimes. And I feel like I go back to the taxi scene where this antagonist was completely silent and you don't know what he's thinking before he kills those two people, right? Or another piece of dialogue, another piece of silence that's used really well is going back to that poor woman who gets into his car and they're driving and you hear him doing nothing instead look for the pipe. And you're
Yeah,
like,
that was eerie right there too.
yeah, so having moments of no dialogue with a serial killer is another very effective way to show how scary a serial killer really is, right?
Another point is he's a school bus driver. He takes kids home. He's
Oh
working with
yeah.
kids. That's another piece because they have always said, like, like in real life, you don't know who you're passing. You don't know who a serial killer is. And this movie really puts you in that because this dude takes kids home. He works for a school, and
You know,
he's like a really brutal serial killer at the same time when he's at night, and he uses that for his advantage because it's the bus thing. Because
yeah.
a lot of people think it's just gonna be a regular bus, not school transportation, and they find out once they're in it that's actually a school transportation thing, and it just makes it more creepier.
Oh yeah. Oh, but another thing that makes it scary is um when our protagonist goes to the family and shows the serial killer's mom's the picture, and she's like, "That's my son. Why he looks so scary now?" And his parents don't even know what he's doing too, which is even more terrifying.
That shows because speaking of like true crime, because I think this just does a great depiction. Um, I think a lot of Korean and cinema does. I'm definitely going to be watching one that we're going to be reviewing soon. I really want to see how they depict that in that movie.
Memories of
Um,
Murder.
yeah, it's Memories of Murder. I really want to know how they depict it in that movie. But it's the thing of like a lot of these famous serial killers. When they're younger, they have show pictures when they're younger, and they're just normal and everything. But it's like the pictures of them, like when they get caught or when they're on trial, it's disturbing. You can see that they have changed so much totally. And it's the same way, like you saying, like, that's my son. Because you could see the evil, like the way he looks grim, he looks rough. But the look in his eyes, you could tell that he's evil.
Yeah, and I thought that was an effective way. Then this leads to probably the best scene in the whole movie is um the protagonist just leaves, does a car like leaves and just goes out in the rain, and then you see the son, father, and mother of the serial killer, and he's trapped with the door being on the
It kind of
hook.
reminded me of a Saw trap, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. And you see the serial killer finally break up in fear, and it's like, please don't open the door, please don't. And then they open the door, the trap comes, chops his head off, which is such a great symbol for the beginning because when the protagonist sees his dead wife, he sees the head first. The protagonist was thinking like the serial killer, and I thought that was just phenomenal.
Not only that, but him having his tongue tied to the rope, you know he's going to rip his tongue out once they open the door also.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because you can already see, at first I thought it was going to be a thing of like a trap for them, and he's going to watch them all die. I thought, oh, but then I found out later on, like before they opened the door, that the rope's attached to the gurney.
Yeah.
Not the gurney, but like the little chopping thing like they used during the medieval times. Um, and like that whole scene was like you could see his fear of like, oh, like they always say, um, you never fear something until, especially death, until it's right in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's what that guy, like, he didn't fear like what he said, but right there when he knew he was going to die, he feared it. That's why he's
Yeah.
yelling. He's like, "Don't open the door, mom, dad!" Like, especially mom, because he was begging for his mom to go away.
Yeah.
Because of course, like you see in the beginning of the movie, the mom loves him so much. She don't know what he's doing. She thinks he just went away being a normal guy, but you can tell his mom and him have a great relationship. While his dad, you can tell his dad don't like him, and he don't like his dad. Go away, and he don't want his son to see this because, of course, it's his own son.
Yeah, exactly. And the only person he realistically cares about the most is mom and son. And seeing the fact that he got killed in front of them with his head getting chopped off, in front of his whole family, is the perfect revenge plot for this whole movie. Um, Even though how fucked up this movie really is, it's kind of a family movie.
Do you just
And
say it's kind of a family movie?
not
Oh yeah, please explain, like in this context of what you're trying to say right now.
I'm just saying because there's themes of family, bro. Like there's a father-in-law and son relationship that is like the
Like good family
glue.
moments. Are you trying to say that there's good family moments in this movie?
Yes, that's what I'm
Okay, when you
saying,
say
bro.
it's a family movie, everyone's gonna think watch this with your family alone. Do not watch this with your family. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. Do not watch it with your family.
Or watch it with your family.
Holy shit.
To show how crazy your son will go for revenge.
To be honest with you, I'm gonna later on when we're doing like the awards and stuff though. I think I remember this being released in the US. I really need to see if there was a theatrical release for the US because I remember trailers for this back in like 2011, 2010.
I know for a fact that this movie was banned in a whole bunch of countries. Well, it makes sense why it was banned in a whole bunch of countries actually, but yeah. Um, but the scene the ending scene that's so beautiful is the cinematography in the end of the protagonist hearing the conversation of his family say, "Oh my god, he's dead. Oh my god, my son," and stuff like that. But it's the moment when he realizes he become the monster that you didn't want to be and breaks down in tears. And that was such a beautifully executed scene, and it's such a great scene that looks like a painting. And I thought this is the ending that's my favorite ending in any movie is that shot right there.
Like what you were saying, I think one at the beginning he's crying because he got his revenge. He got what he wanted. But then later on he found out how much he gave up
Yeah.
to do this. And he's just broken down right there. And it's like he goes a little bit from like crying to like hysterical. It looks a little bit. So it's like back and forward. It's like he's going crazy right there. Like it just hit his breaking point.
No, it's a symbolism because he become that monster, right?
True.
I feel like that's a great way to put it together, is because he dived into revenge in such a highest point that he loses who he is as a person, right? He's not
Yeah.
that likable, charming guy that you see in the beginning. Now he's just this dark, eerie person. And this movie does a great message of showing what revenge could do to somebody and affect them in such a negative manner, right?
True. But is that about it for you, Bilal, for this movie, or is there anything you want to deep dive more into?
Do you want to talk about the score? Because we didn't even
Yeah, it's
talk.
okay. Yeah. Let's talk about that score. You can go first.
You go first.
I really okay. The ending, I was really picked me up on the score. It just goes with captivating with the scene of, like you said, he's kind of become the monster that he didn't want to become, and he tried, and he has killed. He's becoming that, and the score just captivates with it, like with the cinematography. It's the dark. You can see, like the beginning of this movie, he's in a room full of bright light, so
Yeah.
he's happy and everything, and he's so dark in the end because at the outside it's dark. It's becoming nighttime. It's like he's going from the light to the dark.
Yeah, that's a great symbolism. Man, this movie is such a perfect film. But another thing I love about this movie is the first person view of the serial killer driving in the opening, and there's a couple moments of that. But I think we get a first person view of the protagonist at some point of the film, right? I'm
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I actually had rewind at the beginning, very beginning, for that antagonist. I'm like, is this the antagonist we're following, or is this the wife we're following? Then the second time I rewatched it like through, I'm like, oh crap, this is the antagonist we're following right now.
Yeah.
And it's the creepiness of he's trying to find his, like they said, like his friend said. And I'm gonna go back to the beginning. He told me, you have made him become the hunter, and you're his prey.
Yeah.
And it's like the beginning, he's the hunter and he's trying to find his prey.
Yeah, bro, this movie's like it's flawless, man. Like, did you feel the runtime for this like 2 hour 20 minute movie at all? Like, I didn't. Like, I know it's
Maybe on
perfect.
the rewatch, I don't know if it's where it's been late. It's late right now. I think if I could just watch this all the way through on the rewatch, especially probably know where I'm gonna get into. I was more curiosity with the stuff,
Yeah,
and I was like picking up like things. I'm like, I kind of want to see like because I felt like I've always heard this wrong time can go quick, and like the first like 23 minutes. Like I had to go do something, and I stopped, and it was like 23 minutes. I'm like, holy crap! I didn't even realize it was 23
yeah,
minutes.
yeah. Like, the first time I watched this movie, I'm like, I'm watching this film, and I used to watch it. I come back, I'm like, about hour 30 minutes in already. It doesn't feel like it. I'm like, huh?
What I really enjoy about this also, the credits are less than a minute.
Oh
You get
yeah,
the full movie in the 2 hour 21 minute or 22 minute runtime.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And my next question is, what's your favorite, like, not favorite moment, the moment that other than the opening, what's the moment of a serial killer that made you feel the most uncomfortable?
It's can I say two?
Go ahead.
One, it's when he kills the wife. I felt comfortable right there. I'm like, oh crap, we're just getting right into it. I felt uncomfortable and everything. And two, it's when he picks that. No, there's three moments. It's all three. Second is the when he picks up the girl, the woman on the thing. It's the you can see them traveling, but it's when they hit the detour road of the road
Yeah.
with no lights. I felt uncomfortable right there. And when he started searching the door, and three, it's the greenhouse.
Oh yeah, Greenhouse. It was super hard to
Yes,
watch.
but before like the protagonist comes in and like wrecks this dude's life up for the first time, it's that
Yeah.
whole entire scene.
Yeah.
And if I can add one more scene, I just thought of this. It's the
Oh,
talk. It's the conversation he has with the nurse.
oh yeah, that was so uncomfortable. The first time I watched it, I had to skip that scene because it was such a hard watch.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh crap. I'm thinking this is just feels uncomfortable, just all the way through.
Yeah. So you want to talk about awards now, or
Um, I was thinking, is there anything else I want to mention about this? Because we're gonna be going into a little bit more stuff. Oh yeah, can we go back to the score a little bit? We kind of like let me talk and like breeze by it real quick.
yeah,
So not only that, but I think it's some of these scenes. The action scenes really went go with it. It's the scene of when he finds the father-in-law and they
yeah.
find the sister-in-law in the alleyway. That score hits right there.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And the beginning is the beginning when he's traveling that score. It makes the haunting more scary.
No, well, let's talk about the beginning score. Like the movie opens up with like kind of wholesome music, and then it just cuts to this haunting score, and I thought that was perfect.
True. And I kind of like this because the beginning because we get some credits and stuff and it just travels and it's just like the eeriness of this guy traveling around trying to find his prey.
Yeah,
And you get right into the movie. It's not like setting up like it sets up everything with the plot and
I
you
know,
get right
right?
into it. It's like there's not a whole bunch of like shit that's thrown in there at you that do like 30 minutes of like, oh yeah, let's set up these characters and everything. No, you're setting up the characters like you know the antagonist, you know the protagonist, you know the reason of the story, like in the first like 20 minutes.
I know, and another like a great shot of this movie in the credits is like when you see the attendants drag the wife, you see like the blood coming in the snow. I thought that was a beautiful shot there.
Also, the one that's it's just one. I think it's a good shot, but two, it shows how creepy this movie is.
Yeah, for sure. Man, it's crazy that we talked about this movie for like 55 minutes and even like talk about the awards and ratings yet.
I okay to be, and I will leave this in so because I want to hear it from you, let you guys know when after I watched this movie, I knew I wanted to talk about the scene. Bilal always wanted to talk about this, and I knew why after watching this movie. So if you guys haven't seen this movie, definitely go watch this movie because and let us know. Come back to the comments because I always say it, but this is the video I want you guys to come back because will go through and Bilal will on the YouTube his YouTube channel also. We will go through it and we will talk to you guys because this movie, I think, is a movie that you definitely need to break down with somebody and talk to because there's so much stuff like we could probably have missed
Yeah.
and we could talk we could this to be honest with you if Sammy was here I bet you he would pick up more stuff because I think with our Ray discussion we done such a good job of picking up stuff and everything but I think if you get a whole group of friends or like I was telling you guys, leave it down in the comments and we will talk about it because this movie is such good. Like me and you talking about, I even find it more and more better after talking it with you. Like I
Yeah.
thought this movie was great, but it's even more better after like picking up everything because I just got done with watching this thing probably about 40 minutes ago. And it's like fresh on my mind, but picking up little details over time with you, he's past like 57 minutes talking. It's absolutely incredible to see
Hell
how
yeah.
good this movie is
Yeah.
actually is.
Yeah, and it's a reason. There's a reason why this movie is about top four Letterboxd. Like, I think this is a perfect crime film, and we talked about this movie for like you said, 57, almost 58 minutes, basically an hour.
And can I
But
say one thing?
go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you.
Well, I was
Thank you for
like,
getting me on this movie.
I've been trying.
I held this movie off for too damn long. This episode, guys, should have been out literally like a month or a month and a half ago, and it should have. I've been holding this movie off too long. And I thought
Yeah,
the spur today, let's do this episode. And I'm glad we did.
Hell yeah. But funny thing is, I wouldn't know about I Saw Devil if the Hollywood strikes didn't happen. That's the sole reason I know about this movie is it's like when the Hollywood strikes were happening, we can really talk about, you know, Hollywood projects for a while, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I'm so lost. What should I talk about? And then I like kind of search up like I love old boy. I was like, let me check that like go through Joy Min Sing's filmography. Then I saw the devil. I'm like, okay, it's on Tubi, it's free. I checked it out and was completely speechless. And this movie, like you said, it goes full circle. You have the main plot the protagonist get revenge for his wife, and you see like the mindsets that the protagonist does, but at the same time the mindsets that antagonist does, and has a full circle moment of them sort of switching, like not switching spots, but like you see the protagonist sort of become sort of like the serial killer in the end, and it's flawless. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, so you deep dived into like when you first heard about this movie and everything, where
Yeah.
you said, so I remember this movie being released. I don't know if the theaters, I think on physical, because before I went to school, I used to watch like MTV and like the music videos and stuff in the morning, and they would always show I Saw the Devil. Either it was in theaters or I think it was both. But I definitely remember the physical release, like the DVD and Blu-ray being released, and they always show it like release blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, this movie seems like I didn't want to see it that much because the poster is just terrifying on itself. Like, like you guys see this. This is how it looked on the TV. It was that poster right there, and it
Yo,
was so
you know what's
terrifying.
dope about this poster is that like a knife shape right there?
Yeah,
That's crazy. The deal is crazy.
but this movie's so damn good, and after watching it now and like think of like marketing and stuff, which I'm going to go into right now, I really want to see if this had a theatrical like full release in the United States because I really thought I saw this poster. Like you know how you always had the posters in the front of your theater?
Yeah.
I think I remember this poster being from the theater. And let me check that real quick. I really let's see. Yeah, it had a full theatrical release March 4th, 2011. This was released in the United States.
I would be I would be 11. Actually, speaking of this movie,
Oh,
it
no,
came
you know what's weird? Canada was September 14th, 2010. You guys got this nearly 6 months before we did.
damn. But speaking of this movie, for a movie that came out 2010, doesn't it not look like almost like movies we're seeing right now, 2024, 2025, quality wise at least?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Like it doesn't feel like a movie that came out 2010. Like it's like high quality for the time it came out.
I think that's it. And I think it's where it's a Korean movie. Because, for example, I don't know if it's American or Korean, or if it's a mixture like or Japan, but there's a recent upcoming horror movie releasing this Friday on Shudder.
Yeah, what's up?
And I think that's it because that movie kind of feels like, of course, it's present day, right? But like you said, this kind of feels like it could be, if it was released right now, I think because we will find out later on the box office total, but I think if it was released right now with the hype of everything, because of course we got the Raid, you already had the two Raid movies. I think the Raids were not even out yet before this, and like was Kill came out last year.
Yeah.
If this had full theatrical release and like Shadow Strays and like the what was it, the Twilight,
Twilight Underwater's Walden.
people love those movies now. If this movie was released like right now in 2025, this movie would actually make money.
If it was released in 2025, it would have won Best Picture. Hot
Would it
take.
though?
It
It would no,
would.
it not American Best Picture, but like like what was it, foreign best
Best foreign
foreign.
film. But like
Yeah,
Paris,
I think it would definitely. I want to see if it actually did win that in 2011. That's my biggest question.
All right, man. You want to take this show in a row with the ratings and stuff?
Yeah,
Well,
let's get to that. Damn, this movie's so good.
let's do the Rotten Tomatoes score stuff.
Yeah, I really want to see this Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah, you want me to do it?
No, I already got pulled up. I want no, don't pull up. I already got it.
I
Already got it.
it.
Yeah. What do you think the critics is?
Can't be at 95, bro. It's a flawless movie.
What do you think the audience score is?
It gotta be 91. It gotta be high, bro.
Audience is 82. I mean,
Ooh,
no, critic is 82. So
okay.
it's under 84 reviews though.
Oh,
Audience is 87.
okay. That's close.
Which is not bad though. It's still certified fresh and has the popcorn on the popcorn meter for the audience. And with this being certified fresh, it's not that bad still.
Yeah, true.
Especially being an early 2010s movie.
I'm guessing 2010s, like, movies this brutal probably would have been too popular. So I think 83 is solid, actually.
So this came out like for you guys to like for you 2010, 2011. During this time, like you said, it was not that popular because of course we had Rob Zombie. This was like the peak of Rob Zombie. And you know how Rob Zombie goes hard in his movies? Not like a lot of people like violence like that.
True.
And I think that's the thing, but I really want to know how much this movie made. Let's see if I can find this movie.
I thought I was going to guess.
No, I'm gonna let you. No, we're not. Ooh, do you want to guess it before?
Sunny Mill.
70 mil. I'm thinking 120 mil.
120?
Yeah. Okay, here's the results.
What?
It only made $12.9 million.
Oh man,
On a this movie was made for $6 million. Holy shit.
and Miss money back with like okay for 6 million, and this movie looks that beautiful. That's
One thing. When this was at the Sundance 2020, 2011 Sundance Film Festival.
oh man, people that day would be so blessed to see this movie.
Ooh,
What?
holy crap. Oh yeah, there's alternate versions. There's I want to see this. I kind of want to look at the physical media. It says there was a I didn't think of this. There was a DVD release set.
Yep.
3 disc. It was released both with the Korean theatrical release and the international version.
I wonder what the difference is between international and the Korean version.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it too.
Maybe less violence,
Or is that what we get now, the unrated version? It might be the unrated version now.
Yeah, I think so.
But let's look up and see if this thing got awards. Please tell me it won best international. It's international picture, not foreign picture. It's international. I saw the devil. Oscars. And we will even look and see if it's got any like Golden Globes. Let me go through this. So Fangoria, I'm just gonna say this, especially if we got horror fans in here. Fangoria is like the horror awards. So it got nominated for best foreign language film in 2012, and nominated for best actor, which is the villain.
Oh, join this thing. Okay.
Going through this.
Wait, which one's won that year though?
I don't know. I kind of want to see now where you said that. But let's go back. I kind of want to see if we got Oscar and Golden Globe noms, but we can go back and find out the Fangoria. Wait, it didn't get no Oscar or Golden Globe noms.
Man, that's some bullshit. That's
Okay,
why I don't take the Oscars seriously, man.
I'm gonna put Fangoria 2012 best for. Oh, it's because it's foreign picture.
Oh,
I kind of want to see what the best horror movie film that was during that year also, because let's see, would that be I think it's 2012. Best actor um was won by Antonio Banderas is in The Skin I Live In, which I heard he's really good in that movie.
I need to still see that. Who else
Then
was nominated though?
I've heard about Troll Hunter. That's who won.
Troll Hunter. What? Like Troll
Are you
TRO.
serious? Sorry for my language. I just saw who was best foreign language film and Fangoria nominated. I can't believe this film was nominated.
What?
It's a fucking Serbian film.
Don't tell me it's a Serbian film.
No, it didn't win. It was nominated against it though. Troll Hunter won.
Oh, thank God. How? What?
Yeah, I don't know how that was. Yo, I'm
Yeah.
looking through. How did I'm looking through some of these awards? I'm thinking, how the hell did I Saw the Devil not do like certain numbers for this?
I guess I'm because it only made 12 million. Maybe that's.
That and but it's Fangoria though. I thought that because we're the top horror award show that people would actually that they would actually go for it.
Maybe it was too violent at the time. I don't know. Well, never mind.
Probably. Probably, but this is the year of like the Insidious. Um, let me see, Insidious. Because best score is Insidious. So I was thinking that because it was the year of it,
Um,
and this versus Insidious is actually pretty good. No, actually, I love it versus Insidious. Worldwide release best, of course, was Insidious. Yeah, but is that him? Oh no, we forgot one thing:
but
the ratings.
yeah,
What do you
Japanese.
rate this movie?
It's too violent, man. It's too girly.
I said,
One,
what do you rate this movie?
1 star. I'm kidding. 5 star.
Well, I was like, I hyped up this movie just for y'all to give it 1 star. This is
Nah, 5 star easily. Like
yeah, this is 5 stars. It's
best
messed up. It's messed up, but it's 5 stars.
best revenge movie of all time for me.
I'm not seeing a lot, so I'm gonna go with you on that one also.
All right.
But guys, that is it for this week's episode of the Cinematic Boys reviews for this upcoming podcast episode this week. So you guys are gonna get back-to-back episodes each day. So for our podcast episode, we're gonna be doing a movie that was released in 2024 because it's a little bit hard to do some 2025 releases right now because it's January and it's hard for me to get through the theater right now. So we're gonna be talking about one of Bilal's favorite movies from last year. We're gonna be talking about Rebel Ridge.
Yeah.
Um, but then next week for the Cinematic Boys reviews episodes, we're gonna start our good which this is around the time when we started our Denis Villeneuve. We're gonna be starting our Cinematic Boys reviews for Bong Joon-ho. So we're gonna start going through his filmography. I don't know which film we're gonna do first. Me and Bilal are gonna be discussing that after we're done recording this, so we can start with making ideas and questions up for that episode next week. But guys, if you guys are new here and you're watching the video version, hit that like button. And if you guys want to stay with us, hit that subscribe and button and turn on the bell notification whenever, and it will tell you guys whenever we post shorts, podcast episodes, and review episodes. And if you guys want, if you guys are listening to the audio version, of course, give us a star rating, preferably 5 stars. But also let us know down in the comments, either one of them also. just let us know what's about this movie. We will talk to you guys if you guys got any questions about this movie or anything. But also hit the follow button if you guys are listening to the audio version, if you guys haven't followed us yet. But guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. And I'll see. And when you guys hear us next time, it will be for the episode, the Cinematic Boys podcast episode about River Bridge. But I'll see you guys next time.
Oh shit, MBK out.